This is On Point with Miss Britt, bringing you Week 16 NFL recap. As you can see, I got a different background because I am in a different location. And today it's a little gloomy, but it'll be all right. The sun will be back out in the next couple of days, so we're just going to get into it. But first, I want to say rest in peace to Hall of Famer running back Franco Harris. He passed away last week, 3 days before the Steelers were planning on retiring his number 32 jersey in a ceremony. So prayers and thoughts to his family and the Steelers family as well. He won 4 Super Bowls with the Steelers in the 1970s, and he ran for 12,120 yards. All right, so let's get into this recap. So last Thursday, we had the Jaguars versus the Jets. And the Jaguars ended up winning 19-3, and with that win, they keep their playoff hopes alive. Jags, Riley Patterson, he kicked 4 field goals. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, he finished 20 for 31, 229 yards, and he rushed for 51 yards, including a 1-yard touchdown. And then the Jets quarterback, Zach Wilson, Lord have mercy, he was in the game because Mike White, he's experienced an injury, so they had to start Zach Wilson, which Zach Wilson has been benched the last 3 games, and he went 9 for 18, 92 yards and an interception. And people are talking in these streets, saying that he might be the biggest bust, because what is he doing? So, Jags playoff hopes alive. All right, let's just get this out the way, the next game. Giants versus Vikings. So, it really just irritates me how we start off so strong during the first half, then the second half it goes down the drain, and then we always lose to a freaking field goal, and it just pisses me off. So, Vikings kicker Greg Joseph, he kicked a 61-yard field goal as time expired for the Vikings to win 27-24, and they ruined us clinching the playoffs. But that's okay because we play the Colts at home, and they better win so we can clinch our playoff spot. Okay, so Vikings tight end T.J. Hawkinson had a career high of 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson scored with 3 minutes to go after a blocked punt that set it up. Saquon Barkley, he had a 27-yard rushing touchdown up the middle on 4th and 2 with 2:01 left. Daniel Jones threw to tight end Daniel Bellinger to complete a 2-point conversion, which tied the game. So all we had to do on defense was make a stop and go into overtime, but no, we couldn't do that. All right, and Daniel Jones, by the way, threw for 334 yards, a touchdown and an interception. And I'm starting to think, maybe it ain't Daniel Jones. He ain't got nobody to throw to. So some of the Giants' woes in the game that messed us all up was Bellinger. He lost a fumble in the first quarter, and then Richie James. I mean, he always doing something. He always dropping something. He dropped a pivotal pass on 3rd and 5 from the 37, and we had to settle for a field goal. That could have been an easy first down. We could have scored a touchdown. What was you doing, bro? All right, Saints, moving on. Saints versus Browns. Okay. The Saints beat the Browns 17-10. Taysom Hill had an 8-yard touchdown run, and Alvin Kamara had a 4-yard touchdown run to rally back from being down to win the game. Cleveland's quarterback Deshaun Watson drove Cleveland to the Saints 15 in the final minute, but was sacked on 4th down by Carl Granderson. Prior to that play, Browns tight end Njoku dropped a potential touchdown pass with 19 seconds left. And with this loss, the Browns are now eliminated from playoff contention. Bengals versus the Patriots. All right, so the Bengals defense forced a late red zone turnover to hold off the Patriots, and they won the game 22-18. Joe Burrow, he threw for 3 touchdowns. The Bengals have won their 7th straight game. Bengals wide receiver Trenton Irwin, he had 2 touchdown catches, and T. Higgins had a touchdown catch for 128 yards. Bengals were up 22-0 at halftime, but Marcus Jones' 69-yard interception return put Patriots back in the game. Kicker Nick Folk, he missed 2 extra points for the Pats, And then Patriots quarterback Mac Jones finished 240 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Bengals clinched the playoffs with a New York Jets loss. All right, 49ers versus the Commanders. So Brock Purdy threw 2 touchdown passes to George Kittle in the third, a 33-yard touchdown pass and a 34-yard touchdown pass. Washington quarterback Taylor Heineke, he threw 2 touchdowns, but then he lost a fumble and threw an interception in the fourth quarter. He was replaced during the game with Carson Wentz. Ray McLeod III had a 71-yard touchdown run in the second quarter, and Robbie Gould, he kicked 3 field goals. Also, 49ers defense showed up big. Nick Bosa strip-sacked Heineke, and then Jimmy Ward was the one that got the interception off of Heineke. And the 49ers won 37-20. Okay, Cowboys versus Eagles. Them Cowgirls versus the Birds. Okay, so Dak Prescott, he threw for 347 yards and 3 touchdowns after being picked off by Josh Sweat for a 42-yard touchdown in the first quarter. Dak Prescott has had a 5-game interception streak in same season for the first time. CeeDee Lamb, he tied the game 34-34 with a 7-yard touchdown catch. Then Brett Maher kicked 2 late field goals, a 48-yarder and a 26-yarder to seal the win for Dallas. So Dallas won 40-34. The Eagles' backup quarterback, he was in Gardner Minshew. He was in for Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts, he had suffered some type of shoulder injury, so they wanted to bench him just to be safe. So Gardner Minshew, he threw 2 touchdowns and had a touchdown run and 2 interceptions. The second interception that he had set up that go-ahead field goal by Brett Maher. Eagles had 2 of 4 turnovers in final 5 minutes, and they missed a chance to clinch the NFC East by losing. Eagles wide receiver Devontae Smith, he finished 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay, some other key games that happened during Christmas Eve was Steelers versus Raiders. Okay, so the Steelers dedicated this game to Franco Harris. Pittsburgh wide receiver rookie George Pickens scored a 14-yard touchdown pass from Kenny Pickett with 46 seconds to win the game, 13-10. Pittsburgh quarterback Kenny Pickett finished 26 for 39, 244 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Raiders quarterback Lord Derek Carr had 174 passing yards, a touchdown and 3 interceptions, and it was just announced that he will be benched this week, which that needs to happen because that's ridiculous. All right, Dolphins versus Packers. So Tua threw 3 picks in the fourth quarter as the Packers made a comeback to win 26-20. The Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he threw for 238 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Packers kicker Mason Crosby made a go-ahead field goal after both offenses had turnovers. All right, Bucks versus Cardinals. So this game started off real slow and then it started getting good in the fourth quarter. So Bucks quarterback Tom Brady, he completed all 6 passes in overtime. And then Ryan Suckup, he kicked a 40-yard field goal to win the game, 19-16 in overtime. Bucks won 19-16. Bucks overcame a 10-point deficit in the fourth quarter. Cardinals running back James Conner had a 22-yard touchdown run, extending the lead 16-6. And then the Bucks responded with first touchdown drive of the game with Rachaad White's 3-yard touchdown catch with 8:03 left on the clock to bring the score 16-13. Then Bucks forced overtime when kicker Ryan Suckup made a 42-yard field goal with 2:27 left. All right, also the Rams beat the Broncos 51-14. And unfortunately, the Broncos are getting the short end of the stick because they spent all this money on Russell Wilson and he ain't doing nothing. So Baker Mayfield threw for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Chargers, they beat the Colts 20-3 on Monday Night Football. And the Chargers have clinched their first playoff berth since 2018. Also, Baltimore Ravens, they also clinched the playoff spot. And that is all of the recap that I have for you today. And I will catch y'all next week. Y'all be safe out there as well too, and Happy New Year. And make sure you go follow my sports page on_point sports 614 on Instagram as well as YouTube, and make sure you like and subscribe. And I'm out.